So a lot to talk about here today. My daily take over at HartmannReport.com is titled "A $5 Billion Secret Behind Trump's Iran War and Jared Kushner's Role in It." And this is, I mean, first of all, let's just look at what's going on. Donald Trump has attacked Iran. We are now learning that his advisors, particularly General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, explicitly warned him that if he did this, Iran would shut the Straits of Hormuz. Trump, military genius that he is, responded by saying, A, they won't do that, because we'd already had this little 12-day war with them and they didn't do that. And B, even if they did, we've got the biggest, strongest military in the world. We can reopen the Straits of Hormuz. Yeah, right. And then America's, as Reich calls him, America's stupidest cabinet member, the Secretary of War Crimes, Whiskey Pete, coming out and claiming that the nation's media reporting on this is all fake news. So anyhow, let's who are the winners and losers so far in this war on Iran? It turns out the biggest winner so far is Russia. Surprise, surprise. Vladimir Putin is the #1 winner of something that Trump did, a decision that Trump made. Because they can now fund their violence against Ukraine with new oil revenue. The price of oil is up. And they're claiming, hey, yes, we attacked Iran without provocation, or Ukraine without provocation. We did it because, they're Nazis or something. And it's perfectly okay and it's legal because, look, the United States just attacked Iran without provocation. Iran had no nuclear weapons. They didn't even have a missile that could carry a weapon to the United States, and they attacked them. So Russia is the #1 winner. #2, Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has long hated Iran. They've been lobbying at least since 2008 for the United States to take down Iran. The United Arab Emirates, the UAE, has similarly pushed America to attack Iran since at least 2010 publicly. Then who else is winning? Well, there's the American defense industry. They're making $11,000 a second. And then there's Don Jr. and Eric, who have invested in a startup drone company that is going to have huge, huge, huge contracts with the Pentagon. And then there's Donald Trump himself, who has succeeded in pushing off the front page these increasingly credible allegations that he raped a 13-year-old. And then, of course, there's Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been calling for Trump, or for America to strike against Iran since 1992. And Netanyahu, of course, will stay out of prison as long as this war continues. The losers, those are the winners. Who are the losers? Well, the #1 loser is the credibility of the United States and the rule of international law. We violated our own law. We violated our Constitution. We violated the War Act of 1973, which says that a president can declare hostilities if the United States has been attacked. And then he has 60 days to go to Congress. Well, we hadn't been attacked. It's also a violation of the Constitution, of Article 1 of the Constitution, that explicitly says only Congress can make war. It's also a violation of international law, United Nations law, which we are, subscribers to, which we signed on to, which says that no nation can attack another nation unless they've been attacked first. So those are losers. Then, of course, there's the families of the 160 dead 7 to 12-year-old Iranian girls and the thousands of other dead civilians in a dozen countries now. There's the American taxpayers, our losers, who are paying for the bombs, that's you and me, and future prospects for world peace. But the biggest winner, who's the really biggest winner in all this? Jared Kushner. Saudi Arabia and the UAE have been begging the United States for over a decade to attack Iran. They are now under attack from Iran. They need help from the Trump administration, and Trump's son-in-law is the guy who's going to them and saying, okay, I will negotiate this all through, but by the way, I'd like you to give me $5 billion. And it looks like they're inclined to do it. This is the same Kushner. Netanyahu used to sleep in his bed when he was a kid. Back on March 5th, I speculated here on this program that that Kushner and Witkoff, their whole negotiating thing was just a ploy, just a scam to get the Iranian leadership in one room to consider our proposal so that Netanyahu could drop a bomb on them, which is what happened. 3 years ago, I laid out a backstory on this program about how Kushner helped MBS take over the Saudi kingdom, gave him U.S. intelligence that allowed him to literally arrest his relatives. Remember when MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, or Bonesaw, Mr. Bonesaw as they call him, when he locked up a whole bunch of Saudi royals and it was a coup, essentially. Well, Kushner apparently helped that happen, and MBS rewarded him with $2 billion to start his company, Affinity Partners. And now, Kushner's back at that trough trying to get an additional $5 billion. This is a massive and corrupt conflict of interest, in my opinion. And in the opinion of Senator Ron Wyden and Congressman Jamie Raskin, who wrote a letter calling for an investigation, they said, this revelation is deeply disturbing, as Mr. Kushner appears to be influencing U.S. foreign policy by acting as a political consultant to the Saudi government while also accepting their money. Mr. Kushner's proximity to Trump and the potential for political influence warrants the appointment of a special counsel. And then you got the chairman of the FCC coming out and saying, oh, radio and television stations, you want your licenses renewed? You better suck up to Trump. I mean, those weren't his words, obviously, but that was the import of what he was saying and the opinion of most in the media. And it looks like it was Kushner himself who was the main cheerleader for this war. So here we are, the bottom line here. What should we do? Well, I'm calling for Democratic leadership to start holding shadow hearings to investigate this. And this double dealing that's already killed 13 Americans and threatens to plunge the entire world into flames. I mean, at the very least, Democrats should be spending the next few weeks holding public, on the record public hearings into this Iran war. And, figure out what the hell is going on. I mean, remember Benghazi? 4 Americans died. We had, 2 years worth of hearings? It's time for Democrats to take a lesson from the Republicans.